Shalom, it's Levi Shore. Welcome back to Sweet and Good Torah. All right, so we had this amazing experience yesterday that I'm going to tell you about, and we're going to learn the great lesson from Hillel Hazaken, the great Torah scholar Hillel, and we're going to learn how not to get angry at people in real life, IRL, and on the internet. And I'm going to talk about our crazy fishing trip. All right, so it started yesterday morning, and I went with my sons, and we went to a base midrash, and we started learning a little bit. It's in Masechta. It's in the Gemara in Masechta Shabbos. It's on. If you want to look it up, it's the bottom of 30b and the top of 31a, and it tells this whole amazing story about how these two men had a bet that they were going to try to get Hillel angry, and one of the men would win 400 zuz, which I guess was a good amount of money if he could get Hillel angry. And Hillel's going to teach us the secret of how not to get angry. And then that really helped our crazy fishing trip, which we went on yesterday. Okay, so the day started. It was really nice. We went in the base midrash. We started learning about, this story. And one man, he comes to Hillel's house on Erev Shabbos. And this is a tricky time to not get angry because people are rushing around. You got a lot to do before Shabbos starts. And Hillel was like, he was taking a shower or a bath or whatever he was doing. He was cleaning himself for Shabbos. And this man comes to Hillel's house. And he's like, is Hillel here? Is Hillel here? So right away, it's teaching us a very important lesson. Like sometimes we're going to get angry when we're in a rush, when we feel like we don't have enough time, and we don't have that sense of shalom. We don't have the feeling of peace. And this is a dangerous time where we could really get angry. And then, the man goes right to Hillel's house. Hillel's famous Torah scholar. He's the leader of the generation. He's like, is this Hillel's house? So Hillel does something very important. It's a great lesson. What he does is, he doesn't come, out of the house like in a towel, like half dressed, where he's very agitated. He stops what he's doing, and he gets himself dressed, and then he comes up and he starts talking to the person. And the person asks him these three silly questions. Like he asks him, like, why are the Babylonians' heads round? Like why the Talmudians? Why do they have, their eyes are a certain shape? And then why do the Africans have like these broad feet? So it's this seemingly crazy questions. But every time Hillel answers them, he says Bani, he says my son. And what's interesting is there's a concept that when someone teaches students Torah, they are like his children. So what Hillel was really saying is that these are not silly questions. This is there's aspects of Torah in these questions, and he answers them like he's talking to one of his students. So he's treating him like a student of Torah, even though all the guy's trying to do is get him angry and win this bet. But the Marashal, he teaches us something very interesting. He says that these three questions are related to these three bad midos, and these midos are what really gets a person angry. So the first is the midos of like being very arrogant. When a person's arrogant, you think the whole world should like bend to what you want. And we fall into this trap all the time. We have expectations of how the world is. And then when our day doesn't go that way, we start to get very upset and angry, and when people don't agree with us, when they're not, they don't think the way we think. And these are great ways that the Yetzer Hara, the evil impulse, can come in and start to get us angry. And so one thing is the Torah says, like the anava, the humility of Hillel, is the great lesson of how not to get angry. So being humble and seeing that maybe we don't know everything, maybe there's something to learn, and there's really in a way no silly questions, and even a seemingly silly comment or question, you can relate it to great aspects of Torah, and that's what Hillel was doing. So then the second question about like why, and it may have been like I think he may have been talking about people from the steppes of like Mongolia, that region, like going into Asia, like why their eyes have this unique shape, and he just answered that like they're in this sandy region, and like it was better protection, I think, for their eyes to be that way. But the Marashal is also pointing out a deeper concept of that another thing that gets people angry is when people have this bad midah of ayin ra, like an evil eye. They put an evil eye on other people. And it's really all stemming from jealousy. When we're jealous, when we don't feel like Hashem's giving us what we need or what we want, we start to get jealous of other people. And we see what, someone else has a fancy car, they have a fancy house, or, we just, they're going on a fancy trip. And we feel like, that's what we want or we need. Then people can have this ayin ra. They can look at other people, not in a good manner. And humility is realizing like we have everything we need. We have everything we need today. Hashem's given us. And when we have that, we feel good about what we have, and we're not so concerned about what other people are doing or what they have. And that's the second quality. And then the third quality is it's what the Maharshal calls it I think it's a nefesh rechava. It's a wide open soul. And I think the thing here is like it's a lack of yira, maybe. It's like, sometimes you get into this we see this attitude where like it's all good, but everything's not all good. There's evil in this world, and there's certain things we shouldn't be doing. I mean, there's 365 mitzvahs lo taseh. These are things that Hashem said don't do, and they bring down a negative spiritual energy. So there's things that we have to stay away from. So we have to have a certain year. We have to understand that, like, Hashem's all powerful. Hashem has this chachma elyon. He has this very elevated wisdom, and we don't understand everything all the time. And sometimes things do seem confusing to us, and we need a more like wider consciousness to, sometimes we need to step back, and we need to have a little bit of a yira that Hashem is really telling us, like, what's best for us. And like sometimes what we think is not going to be best for us. Sometimes what we want is not best for us. Okay, so what does this have to do with our crazy fishing trip? Okay, so first we learned in the Beis Midrash, we learned this, we started learning about Hillel, we started learning more about today, and we'll continue on, learning this sugya about, how to not get angry. And then the craziest thing happened. So the day started great. We were learning Torah. We went to Bass Pro Shop, fantastic place, very fun. And I got some new fishing rods for the kids, and we wanted to start learning more about fishing. And went to this beautiful lake in Columbia, Maryland. It's Lake Elkhorn. And right before we get to the lake, I see, there's a gas station. We stop in there. We get some gas. We go in the store. We get some ice. Everyone gets a nice, soda drink. We got some sunflower seeds, and I already packed like a little bit of picnic lunch while we're fishing. So we're all ready to go. Everything's beautiful. Everything's perfect. The full tank of gas. We're like 30 seconds away from the lake. We're about to start our amazing fishing trip. I try to start the car. The whole thing goes haywire. The car's not starting. The whole computer system is acting crazy. It's like the HAL 9000 from 2001 Space Odyssey. Something's not right. So my son notices is right attached to the gas station is an auto service center. So it's like, oh my gosh, what hashgacha pratis. So I really thought all it was going to take was just simply like, if someone could jump our car, give us a jump, start up the engine, because it's happened to me a couple times and over the last, like, say, 4 or 5 months. And the guy comes out and he tries to jump the car, and it doesn't work. So he says, okay, I'll take it in the shop. I'll run a diagnostic on it. It's probably just a new battery, and we'll get you going again. So I was like, okay, this is great. This is perfect. So and he says the lake's right there. You guys can just walk. It's like a 1-minute walk. So we take our fishing stuff, we take our food, we walk over the lake. We're fishing for an hour. It's just great. It's fun. We didn't catch a thing. We caught a lot of algae. We didn't catch any fish. We were trying for bass. We didn't catch anything. But we walked back over an hour, and then the guy says, okay, I did the diagnostic on the car. You do need a new battery, and you also need a new alternator. And I'm like, okay, so I think it's going to be a little expensive. The price he shows me is outrageous. So learning the lesson from Hillel, before he even told me the price, what I did is I went to the Beit HaKisei, I took a break, I went to the restroom, just got relaxed, came back out. He showed me a price that is very much higher than what I was expecting. So this is a tricky situation. So another thing is, like, I teach. So one of the schools where I teach 3 classes, I don't get paid from them during the summer. The other school, it's nice. They split out the payments over 12 months. But my main paycheck I don't have for 2 months. So I'm a little already tense about money, because I don't have the salary coming in from teaching. And then I see this huge number. So it's interesting. There's a couple ways to go here. Gonna have to get the car working again, or we're gonna be stranded in Columbia, Maryland. Okay, so we're here fishing, we're having a great time. So you know what? This is not what I wanted, but it's some kind of kapara, gamzo latova. It's for the best somehow. I don't understand it. Still feel a little overwhelmed with it all. But Hashem had it all planned, and Hashem had it all planned where the refuah, the cure, came before the makkah. Like Hashem had us like conk out right there. We could have been right. It was a very hot day. We could have been right in the middle, 695, right on the beltway, on the side of the road there. But we had us conk out, perfectly right there, right in front of the car service place, and we were right near the lake. So, you know what? I said, okay, just fix it. It's it's a little crazy, but we didn't have to get angry about it. It was interesting, and we went fishing for another hour. And right as we're walking back, I get the text that the car is done, and then we drove back in crazy traffic because I was not planning on going back that late. But you know what? In the end, it was a great day. It was a great day, and it was the gentlest way possible to get this kind of kapara, to get this atonement. And it's a great lesson, and it's a great lesson that Hillel is teaching us, of talking to other people, talking with our family, talking with our friends, talking to perfect strangers on the internet. We don't all see the world the same way, and right now, unfortunately, there's very few people in the world that are really seeing the world the way Hashem's seeing it through the lens of Torah, and people are seeing it in crazy ways. Unfortunately, a lot of people are gazing through this atheist fantasy. But there's one thing that's very important. It doesn't matter in some instances, like Bizrat Hashem, everyone, will see the beautiful world, through Hashem's eyes, through the lens of the Torah, through the Eitz Chaim, through the Tree of Life. But just our interactions with each other, especially in the Jewish people. And as we're in the middle of the 3 weeks here, we're about to head into Av, we're heading to Tisha B'Av. The destruction of the temple came from sinas kinam. It came from baseless hatred, free hatred, just hating other people for really no reason. And one of the main ways it's going to be rebuilt is through a chavas kinam, like free love in a sense, but love without measure, love without any reason really. We may be seeing the world in different ways right now, but it doesn't mean we can't treat each other with respect. And it doesn't matter in some ways. It's more important. Treating other people with respect and kindness is going to get us out of this exile. We've been in this Gullus Edom for 2,024 years. And what's going to get us out? What's going to get, Hashem to send Mashiach? What's going to get us redeemed? What's going to get us to return home, finally, to the amazing Eretz Yisrael, the land of Kedusha, the land of holiness? What's going to get all these good things, all these brachas back? It's just treating each other kindly. And we can learn great lessons from Hillel here of how not to get angry. Just because someone has another idea than us, just because someone sees, the world in a completely different way, even though we can see it's total mishigas that they're seeing evil as good and good as evil, but we can still treat them as a human being. We treat them as a Selam Elokim. And the more closeness that the Jewish people have, it's going to change the world. It's going to change the world for the good. So we have a great lesson to learn here during the 3 weeks, that we don't need to be angry. Crazy stuff's going to happen to us. Like sometimes the car is going to break down and the bill from the mechanic is going to be outrageous, and things are going to break, and things, we're going to have, health problems, and we're going to have this and we're going to have that. But one thing we don't have to do is, we're still going through it anyhow, but we don't have to get angry. And if we can see that it's really Gamza L'Tova, that it's all for the best, and Hashem's doing this all out of love and is really the best for us, then there's no reason to get angry. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you back again soon on Sweet and Good Torah.